Commissioner 1-2 after yet another week where an injury haunts her football team.
I don't know why she doesn't just pick healthy players, but whatever.
It's like the Cowboys drafting players, Paul, that were injured.
If you were a first-round talent but tore your ACL and your Achilles tendon on the same play, second round.
Yeah.
Going to happen.
Jennifer, I'm trading texts with Coach Rule. He's getting ready for the Cowboys, and I told him that you have a lot of faith in Chuba Hubbard. Do you know why he actually drafted Chuba Hubbard? Not just because he saw him run down his throat one time at Oklahoma State, but what actually the story behind that pick?
No, I don't know the story.
They were looking at the next pick, I think was in the third round, whatever round it was with Chuba Hubbard. His wife texted him, this would be a good time to draft Chuba Hubbard. And he did. So she gets the game ball when he was a part of helping them win the game last week. So hopefully, all right, so how are you doing mentally?
Yeah.
How are you doing mentally?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm just devastated. You know, this is my third year in a row that my first pick of the draft has gone down. First year was Patrick Mahomes. Second year was Saquon Barkley. This year, Christian McCaffrey. It's like literally a curse at this point. But you know, I'm probably going to change my name to pulling hammies because I had three players on my team last week who had hamstring injuries. I mean, first Christian McCaffrey, which what was it, like a stiff arm, and he all of a sudden he's out of the game. I mean, I didn't even realize that he had even gotten hurt until all of a sudden they're saying that McCaffrey's in the medical tent, and Daniel and I just looked at each other like, you've got to be kidding me right now. And then, of course, they come back from a commercial break, and it's like, well, we've got some news to tell y'all, but we'll wait until after we hear this call. And it's like, no, tell me what happened. Like, this is, like, crucial. So that was devastating. And then, of course, you know, I was optimistic saying, okay, well, at least he got me 6 points. At least he didn't go out with just a goose egg. But then, you know, we start the games on Sunday, and I'm just hopeful that at least somebody can just step up and make up for it. And then, boom, Sterling Shepard out with a hamstring injury after he was on my starting, you know, he was a starter for me last week. He got 2 receptions and goes out with a hamstring. I mean, do we need to hire some new trainers for these teams? Like, I don't get what's happening. And then Julio Jones, same thing, injured his hamstring and only played 7 plays in the second half. But the fact that they, you know, that Julio Jones didn't go out of the game entirely is a good sign. And then also the fact that they didn't put Christian McCaffrey on IR, that, you know, makes me hopeful that he'll be back in a few weeks. But boy, it was a rough Thursday and Sunday for me.
Jen,
for you or for Daniel?
Yeah.
I have to say though, I told myself this year, I'm not going to let myself get all worked up about fantasy, and that, you know, I broke a table last year. And I mean, you know, I get very, very, very passionate about this. This is what I live for in the fall. You know, I mean, people that play understand, but I just can't get over this curse of my players going, like my top player going down. It's terrible, but I did get Chuba Hubbard on the waivers, thankfully. So, it was just a very, very rough week for me last weekend.
All right, I'm going to make a couple suggestions. Do with them what you
Okay.
will. I would not play any Pittsburgh wide receivers right now because Ben Roethlisberger is done. I mean, he's just...
Oh, my God. Why is he even allowed to be putting on a Steelers jersey? Every time I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to watch a video of him just running with the ball. It's the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. Yeah, he's terrible this year. Terrible.
Yeah. So Chase Claypool, while maybe he has some value if you really need to play him, I would play Rondale Moore on your roster over him right now because he's in an offense with a quarterback who can throw the ball from here to the line of scrimmage without wincing in pain. So
yeah,
I think that one's good. I think I looked at Cordero Patterson is on the free agent wire, and while he's been a kick returner most of his career, the Falcons are using him a lot. That might not be a bad guy for you to pick up. And Hunter Renfrow as well might not be bad for you to get because I think it's his time in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he's legit, dude. He's just making plays, and nobody can cover him either. Yeah, that would be a good one if he's available.
You could do it all right now before we're even off the phone. So they're all
yeah. No, I was going to ask you what your opinion was about that, and I know that's my thing with Claypool is. He did end up getting me 18, I believe it was 18 points last week, but that's the problem is it's like, I can't rely on Roethlisberger, and it's like, yeah, Claypool could have these big games, but it's like the way Ben's playing right now is just awful. So, okay, yeah, that's what I was questioning, because I do, that's my problem, is rotating out these wide receivers that I have and trying to figure out who's going to be the best.
I just saw Natasha picked up Hunter Renfrow just now in the last 30 seconds.
She's listening.
You mean her boy? You mean her husband?
I'm just kidding. Oh, see, the claws come out. I'm just kidding. But you better go get him while you can. Seriously.
Oh no, I'm already mad at. Some of the girls already have. It's one of those things. I just kidding. Like I said, I take it really seriously. And so last week there was a little bit of a text exchange, because I was like, does my number one pick every year really end up getting hurt? And then of course the girl I'm playing, who was Alex, chimes back and was like, oh, that's such a shame, with a laughing face. And then my bestest friend Tara clicks ha on it, and I was like, okay, Tara, you just got moved to the trash takeout at my wedding, because like now you're on my bad side. She's supposed to be my maid of honor whenever that day comes, shout out to Daniel. But anyways, and then Alex returns with, so am I uninvited? I was like, 100% you're uninvited. So, I just, when one of my players, goes out, it's not the time for jokes. Like I said, it ruins my whole, next week until I can get my waivers to go through and make sure that I have someone that can replace him.
Yeah. Who is your bestie? If Tara's no longer your bestie, the twins are in that conversation. You and Brittany have a love-hate relationship. I'm with Brittany right now. Okay, all right. But Brittany's not playing this year, and the twins don't play fantasy either. So, but yeah, those three would be the next up.
Moving up the list of your wedding, you might wind up just eloping without any kind of wedding party.
Please do that. If you do it, I'll pay for dinner, not the rehearsal dinner.
You're going to have to pay for everything back. And then then the week before. The week before, Tara, I was playing Tara. So she did that to me this last week. And then the week before that, I was playing Tara, and she ended up beating me too. And she has her son, who's basically like my godson, sends me a video, and literally, like, it was the last game, and she had the Chiefs kicker, and of course he just, great game for him. And then she sends me a video on Instagram, and immediately I'm like, I swear if this has anything to do with fantasy, I'm going to be so upset. And I open it, and it's her son, and he's like, no, I don't want us to ask that question. And he's telling her he doesn't want to ask me something, and she's like, just say it. And he's like, I'm sorry you lost, Aunt Penny. Oh. And I'm like, okay, how can I be mad at that? But at the same time, I'm like mad, Oh. But yeah, so that's 2 weeks in a row she's taunted.
Hey, Jennifer, my girlfriend sent me a video of the kid that she used to nanny for, saying, I'm sorry about Mookie Betts. And I mean, it was rough for me. I get it.
Yeah, I didn't even respond to it, and then finally after, like I said, he's basically like my godson. So of course then I felt guilty, and I was like, okay, I can't let fantasy get in the way. But yeah, I don't find that stuff funny. It was too soon. Like I need some time to like heal and recuperate, like my players. But it's fine. It's it's all fun and games in the end, right? It's just fantasy. This is what happens, and some people just have it worse than others. Like, for example, okay, Gronk goes down. You think the guy's dead on the floor. They're making a huge deal about it. And then, like, next few plays, Gronk, huge reception. It's like, what? Like, my player goes out and he's in the tent so long because he can't get himself better. But, someone like Gronk goes down, whoever has him, they don't have to panic. He's coming right back. Devontae Adams goes down. They go straight up to his eyes and his helmet, and they're, like, rolling back in his head. And then he pops up, plays the next play. Like, there's no way he didn't have a concussion on that play. Then Tyron Lockett goes down. Oh, nope, it's fine. He's right back in. But my players, we're just going to take the whole season and recover. It's like, it's just terrible. It's exhausting. I have the worst luck with injuries on my team.
Craig?
So,
drop those defenses too when you pick up those guys. You don't need the extra ones on your bench this week.
No, I know. The reason I did pick up the Titans defense this week, but that was just because they're playing the Jets. So, but yeah, no, I'm not planning on keeping all those. It's just what ended up happening on the waivers. Okay. But so I that's why I picked up the Titans, and then I got Chuba Hubbard. I'm also in the works of trying to do a trade, because if you look at Macy's team, she's got like 6 running backs on her team that are all pretty good. And I really want to try to get her to, give her a receiver too, and try to get one of her running backs while McCaffrey's out. But I kind of want to see what Hubbard does first too. So I've been texting her trying to do a trade, but these girls just don't do trades. In the 2 years I've played, they've never done trades.
With you, or just not at all?
No, in general, there's never been one trade in our league.
That's interesting.
Huh.
Well, you need to.
I've been in the league for 20 years now, and we don't trade anymore either because we don't trust each other.
Yeah, you need to remind them who's the one who's the commissioner. And who does
exactly right?
Who, despite 2 losses in a row, is doing a talk show, a national talk show on YouTube. Just might
exactly, Dad.
Nudge
exactly.
him in that way.
And then let's talk about what else messed me up last week. So I played at another defense that just goes off 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 sacks, and then Dad, your sweet little Antonio Gibson, he screwed me last year. And I think it was the game he got like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Against the
and
Cowboys.
Then he has this 73-yard receiving touchdown that was a 19-point play, and then he was quiet the rest of the game. Then your Redskins want to throw a touchdown at 4th and goal to Logan Thomas and get another 6 points for Alex. It's just like, it's a joke. And Herbie is no longer my little Herbie. He's Hitler Herbie, because when he went and started throwing down the field and then got Mike Williams his 2nd touchdown of the game and left time on the clock for one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to go run down the field, I was so mad. Like, why did they not just run the ball and run the clock down and then kick the field goal? Why was that so hard? No, Hitler Herbie has to have the game of the year. So, yeah, it was a great week last week. I was in a really good mood. So
you're talking about Justin Herbert of the Chargers. Okay.
Just imagine
Hitler Herbie.
Daniel has to listen to this all day Sunday, every single week.
I know. He sits there and he's like, you do realize I have 2 fantasy football teams of my own, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not paying attention to yours. But no, I always pay attention to his. But, mine has been just a tidbit distracting this last week. So
Baylor 88 Bear on the text line. My daughter got married in August, wanted a small wedding, 17 people. I highly recommend it.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to go.
That would be a dream come
That's
true.
the way to go.
17 people. I wish I could.
You might have 17 bridesmaids, knowing you. It's going to be such a disaster.
Actually, 9, but yeah.
Paul, you have any Bitcoin money or anything like that?
9.
I love that we're talking about this and it's not even like in the works. But
Yeah, but Dan, first of all, God bless Daniel for putting up with you. And
oh my gosh.
yeah. All right.
What about?
Well, I mean,
Okay,
God bless you for putting up with Daniel.
Yeah,
there you
exactly right.
Thank you, Paul. You know I love you.
I have tried to talk you down from the cliff twice now in the last 2 weeks, and at least I help maybe distract you with something else. But good to hear from you. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
You need a break.
This week will be better.
Because 1 and 3
I
is going to
know.
be hard to dig out of that ditch. But Jennifer Smoke, a Fantasy Football League commissioner.
Thanks, guys. Love
Thank
y'all.
you. Love you too.
It's all about getting in the playoffs, though. You get that last spot in the
but
playoffs and get hot then. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, it's 1 and 3, and and her team was scored. They score a lot of points, but last week
I'll tell you what, man. She makes me so glad I don't play fantasy sports every weekend with her text messages. I mean, love her to death, but like the stuff, like her whole rant just now, like I don't have to deal with that in any way, shape, or form. I just watch the games, and it's really nice.
I drove to the game in Duncanville last week, right?
Yeah.
I called her in Waxahachie, or she called me back, and I was driving around the stadium in Duncanville 3 or 4 times, and I had not said a word. It was that segment on the phone.
But I like the stress of it. That's what I enjoy about it. I know some people, I like the stress. I'm fascinated by it. And it keeps me, I would be invested in the games anyway, but I do like to, because I do have the NFL Sunday ticket, which, by the way, the NFL apparently wants to go to Apple.
Yeah.
And Apple has enough money, think about this, to just buy it straight up, charge their normal, like maybe add $1. It's $4.99 a month for Apple TV Plus. Maybe add $1 to the subscription fee, and then they'd have to get 33 million more subscribers. But if you could get every NFL game for $5,
Yes.
they would get half of that just like that.
And colleges, that's something they need to tap into that if they possibly can.
They've also talked about just doing like straight up single game purchases as well for Sunday tickets. So that's part of what they're discussing.
AT&T apparently is getting out of it. So
yeah, but you could do single game. Kind of, I guess like it's college football. I mean, I don't think you could charge. Well, I guess you probably would. It's the NFL. I mean, but those like Oklahoma versus San Diego Southwestern of the Holy Cross is like $60 to watch.
Assembly,
Yeah,
no,
it's crazy.
They played somebody earlier this year. I believe it was. And I looked on the pay-per-view. I wasn't going to watch the game, but I was just going down the pay-per-view. It was like $59.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hey,